As heroin became more accessible and purer, it started to gain a foothold with the middle class and wealthy. Very skinny look, which was called heroin chic.
Hi guys, this is Vaishnavi and welcome to my channel MEETA. And I am glad you came because I have such a treat for you guys.
Nicholas Egon is in search of the perfect woman. Perfect hair, perfect eyes, perfection in every detail.
It is a question that has haunted women an entire century. And I'm going to walk you down a span of 100 years of what desirable body shape is for women. This video actually popped up in my recommendations. I thought, wow, YouTube is actually recommending me good stuff. So let's get to it. And here we begin.
Let's start in 1910. With the education of women and the rise of the suffragettes, women were starting to fight for their equal rights and independence. The whole movement was gaining so much energy, and in response, Charles Dana Gibson, who was a really big illustrator at the time, invented the Gibson girl. She was kind and soft and designed to look aspirational to women with her curves, small waist, sloped shoulders and long neck. After the images were published on the covers of Life and Collier's, the Gibson girl quickly became the new beauty standard.
Does that even look natural? And it was not based on an actual body type, it was an illustration by a man. History really teaches you a lot about human beings and what a disappointment they can be. Anyway, moving to the roaring 20s. I have a good feeling about this.
But by the 1920s, girls were done with the corsets and were ready to move. As the First World War ended and jazz music flooded the night scene across the US and into Europe, it was more about just being free and young and embracing life. Women who rebelled against the old Gibson girl ideal were called flappers. They cut their hair short, they bound their breasts to create a flatter chest, and wore shorter, shapeless dresses to intentionally challenge the previous beauty standards by creating straighter silhouettes.
I have to say that I really love the fashion of the 20s, the short hair and the thing that goes around your head. It just looks really trendy, and all the shimmy dresses. I love tassels. Okay, going to the 30s.
But the Wall Street crash in 1929 quickly ended the whole flapper look and lifestyle. It wasn't a time for celebration anymore, and it was more about practicality. Women started to wear trousers or pants for the first time, and a lot of businesses restricted flapper signs of freedom. With the return of longer dress lengths, the fashion industry moved back to slightly curvier models, celebrated by the media for representing the new look that the fashion industry
Wait a minute. Wait, what is this credit system? 1 minute. Are they actually judging women based on each curve in their body? I am shocked. So like being beautiful is everything that a woman is expected to be. Shocking. I guess we haven't changed that much in the past 100 years. Evolution? I don't think so.
Now we're coming into the 1940s, which was mostly defined by World War II. Fashion and the ideal woman's body was inspired by the military, so things like shoulder pads, torpedo bra shapes, blazers, everything just became more angular. And actually, a lot of men's clothes were being reworked into women's clothes.
That's nice.
No, that makes a neat little blouse.
People were so idealist beauty.
They're talking about making men's clothing into women's clothing. Newsflash! This t-shirt, which you've seen me wear a lot of times, it's actually from the men's section. Why? Because men's section have the best t-shirts. They're thick, they're practical, loose and comfortable. And not to mention, I don't need to wear another t-shirt or a slip. And a slip for a slip. Ladies, I hope you know what I mean. The struggle is real.
Just took a back seat. But A-list Hollywood actresses like Lauren Bacall and Katharine Hepburn reflected the reality of rationing and harder times with a slender, leaner look. By the time the 1950s came round, a stronger economy was starting to return to the West, and people were partying and enjoying themselves again.
Well, Saturday night and I just got paid. Don't got the money, don't try to save.
That scene looked somewhat like maybe cheap thrills. Don't you think that actually kind of look like, apart from that video from Cheap Thrills was, I think, inspired by this video which was in the 1950s. Okay, moving
With that
on.
indulgence and celebration, the media started to embrace a slightly fuller figure compared to the 1940s. Meanwhile, one up-and-coming actress who was still making a name for herself was Shelia.
Diamonds are a girl's best friend, and this is our proof of it.
A couple more provocative moves and Marilyn Monroe became a massive sex symbol. With all that attention, she became an icon of the golden era and the look that was most celebrated.
The
They
short
were even
hair.
selling hip and butt pads, as well as weight-gaining supplements.
This is going crazy. So up till now we have seen in the 50s, the half of the century, it was curvy, then slim, and then practical, longer silhouettes, and 50s are like more curves. Let's see what the latter half of the century has in store for
Then the
us.
60s come by and the popular look changes again drastically. A second wave in the women's rights movement began. The birth control pill was approved and women felt like their bodies were being freed from the ideals and girdles of the 1950s, as some women now relied on diet to achieve a particular look.
You just get up and do this. And I felt fabulous.
The same kind of look still dominated the media through most of the 70s, although some stars and dance were slowly introduced. After the dance-focused 70s, it was
70s was pretty basic. Just copied most of the stuff from the 60s. 70s is like that kid who is a year older to you but sits next to you and copies everything that you have written in your answer sheet.
when Jane Fonda released her first workout video in 1982. It was a surprise hit all round.
Workout videos have been going on since the 80s.
I just thought it's an entire series on YouTube. That explains so much about Stranger Things. Oh, if you watch season 3, then there's a lot of dancing and those tights.
Stars aligned perfectly, and as women were now intentionally exercising to shape their bodies on such a large scale, it was perfect time. Advertising on billboards and TV, which meant that models
Revolution.
seen on the runs like Elle Macpherson, Linda Evangelista and Naomi Campbell were now everywhere, and their tall, athletic physiques matched perfectly with the new exercising culture. They became
That's when the obsession with taller girls came in.
Desirable.
and recognized as some of the biggest names in the world.
The 90s.
But the 1990s took a bit of a turn. As heroin became more accessible and purer, it started to gain a foothold with the middle class and wealthy.
I did not
It
expect
also
that.
began to infiltrate pop culture with massive films like Trainspotting, Pulp Fiction, and Basketball Diaries. Potentially as a rebellion against the healthy ideals of the 80s, parts of the modelling and film industries temporarily featured a pale-skinned, very skinny look which was called heroin chic, and led by models like Kate Moss. There was some pushback against the new look, as some people didn't like the glamorization of drug culture.
Exactly.
Elsewhere, a generally skinny look was in, and the fit look of the 80s was out.
Oh. Like, I'm not trying to sham anybody, but in Friends, Monica was a little over the top skinny. Even the ones who guest starred on it, they had pretty much a very thinner frame. They don't show a single fat person, except when there's a flashback and Monica is fat.
In 1999, it was time for a new look. Vogue dubbed Brazilian supermodel Gisele Bündchen the return of the sexy model, and heroin chic was out. The new look was to be tanned with a flat, more athletic stomach and boobs. Cue Britney Spears. Fitness was back into Hollywood and the mainstream media.
I did her 10 days program, and after the first 10 days I had lost 11 inches.
What? What?
Transformed my body.
Can-
I'm so grateful.
Is that even humanly possible?
By By the time the 2010s came round, a couple of provocative moments combined with years of smart planning and a convenient family network allowed the Kardashians, along with the likes of Nicki Minaj and Jennifer Lopez, to bring back the curves. The new booty craze was now supported by the biggest stars on social media. Trend doesn't catch on as much in some areas of traditional media, but research showing that people are spending more time on social media than traditional offline media like TV, magazines or films means that there's been a shift in where we're finding and celebrating our new ideals. Looking forward, as social media has democratized the content we consume, we're seeing different trends occurring among different communities online. All kinds of statistics show that the speed at which we're creating and consuming media is the fastest it's ever been, which might mean that we're about to see trends appear and disappear quicker than they have before.
This was it. If you've noticed, every 10 years the trend changes from wheel shape being curvy to thin, and now we entered the 20s. So there's going to be another new shift.
I'm actually happy about it that there is no specific
frame anymore, but it's still sad that a lot of women think they're not beautiful because they are not the ideal body type. This whole thing about having a perfect figure came from an illustration created 100 years ago by a man, and it was not even based on a real woman. I don't think you guys should fret so much about what is the ideal body type, because just wait for another 10 years, it's going to change. Or maybe just wait for 10 days and it's going to change. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you liked this. If you want to see more and if you have some awesome suggestions, do let me know. Do subscribe to my channel, and to watch my previous videos you can click over there or there, and to subscribe to my channel you can click down here. Thank you so much for watching. This is MEETA signing off. Peace. And just remember, you're beautiful no matter what body type. Bye.